We cannot afford the risk of a carbon tax recession, because the truth is clear. You can be for a carbon tax or you can be for jobs, but you can't be for both.
Premier Ford calls it a carbon tax, the federal Liberals a price on pollution. No matter what you call it, the Trudeau government has now imposed one on Ontario and the 3 other provinces that are refusing to implement a cap-and-trade style program: Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and New Brunswick. As a result, gas prices immediately went up across Ontario by about 5 cents a litre. Light fuel oil, natural gas and propane will also face the new levy. The tax is supposed to change consumer habits and lower the country's emissions so it can meet reduction targets agreed to at the Paris Climate Summit in 2015. The feds insist it will be revenue neutral, promising a rebate of about $300 for an average family of 4. But in a carefully orchestrated social media campaign yesterday, Tory MPP after Tory MPP after Tory MPP showed photos of themselves gassing up, decrying the carbon tax with no mention of the federal rebate. And are you misleading voters?
We aren't misleading voters, and I find it ironic that the government's saying that they're going to give you money back. We know for a fact when you go to the gas pumps right today, you're paying 5 cents a litre more. We know for a fact that everything is going to go up. Every single item is going to go up. Your car parts that gets transported from point A to point B, they're going up. Food, clothing, everything.
The Premier says the federal government's imposed gas tax will actually cost the average family over $700 a year. Gas expert Dan McTague agrees the federal rebate will not fully cover the added cost.
And I have some experience with energy rebates. At the end of the day, it's a wonderful concept. I think they need to be discussed, but I think in this case they clearly fall short, especially when you consider the cost of diesel as it will cascade through the economy. But I think there's a less punitive way to go about it, and I think those who are emitting should be the ones that are encouraged and helped to make those changes.
Others, though, believe a price on pollution is the way to go. Is this the best way in your mind, or are there other alternatives that also need to be looked at?
We need a range of alternatives, but what the economists say is that carbon pricing is one of the most cost-effective ways of reducing greenhouse gas emissions. When you put a price on something, in this case on pollution, people are more cautious. The biggest source of greenhouse gases in Ontario now is transportation, so we have to give people alternatives to the car.
Ironically, the cost of taking the TTC went up today by 10 cents unless you're taking a cash fare. Now, Ontario has reduced its emissions by 22%, largely, though, because they cancelled coal-fired plants. The overall emission reduction goal is 30%, and the battle over a carbon tax is far from over. The province has budgeted $30 million to fight the feds over it in court.